In the USA and many other countries, they are called potato chips, but in the British Isles we call them crisps. So I hope you won't mind me referring to them as crisps for the next few minutes, as I share with you a story of generosity, a story of something that happened to me a number of years ago, but which remains a very special memory. It had been a great reunion, but as always it had passed by all too quickly, and now we'd arrived at the final morning of our reunion experience. Soon we will be saying our goodbyes and heading off home. The final worship of this British reunion was to be a communion service. I entered the hall where the worship was to take place and sat down. Sitting a few seats away from me was 2-year-old Jeremiah, affectionately known to everyone as Jez. Jez was sitting with his mother Amanda. Conscious that Jez might become fidgety while the bread and wine were being served, Amanda had brought with her a packet of crisps for him to eat. Partway through the service, Jez noticed me sitting nearby. With a smile on his face, he left his mum's side and made his way over to me. Then, packet of crisps in hand, he jumped onto my lap. Jez held the packet of crisps out to me. I opened it and passed it back to him. He reached into the bag, took out a big crisp, placed it in his mouth and ate it. Then he reached into the bag, took out another crisp of a similar size and passed it to me. With a thank you, I took it from him and ate it. A few seconds passed. Then Jez's hand went back into the packet and he pulled out another crisp, which he promptly ate. Immediately after finishing this crisp, he pulled out another, which he passed to me. As soon as we had both finished eating our crisps, he placed his hand back into the bag and took out 2 more, one for him and one for me. This continued as together we worked our way through the packet of crisps. Now all of you who've ever had a bag of crisps will know, as you get towards the bottom of the bag, you're left with a selection of small fragments that have broken off the larger crisps. These are difficult to pick up one at a time, but it did not deter my 2-year-old friend. Jez continued reaching into the bag and taking out little pieces, one for him and one for me. The pieces got smaller and smaller, but Jez persevered in his act of sharing with me, his friend. Are you picturing the scene? Adult and child completely wrapped up in the joy of sharing. And so Jez shared equally, one for me, one for you. One for me, one for you, until the bag was completely empty. Now this all happened many years ago, but I think of it often. The day when the actions of a 2-year-old made the message of generosity and equality come to life. What we shared in together that day was a spiritual practice, and for me it was a truly sacramental moment. One of the 6 principles of a disciple's generous response is to share generously. I could now go into a long explanation of how the story I've told may be used to demonstrate this principle, and how it might also help us to understand tithing as a spiritual practice. But you don't need to hear more words. The story is enough. All I ask is that you simply reflect on the story. Picture it in your mind. And then, when you've done that, consider how the actions of a young child might inspire you into acts of radical generosity. Yes, you heard correctly. Not generosity, but radical generosity. Generosity that moves you out of your comfort zone so that you may bless others in ways that you may not have previously thought possible. But before I finish, there's one more thing I would like to share with you. The story that I've told today took place many years ago. Jez is no longer 2 years old. He's now grown into a wonderful young man. And I'm thrilled that this week Jez and I will be sharing together in the International Youth Forum at the Community of Christ International Headquarters in Independence, Missouri. I'm also thrilled that Jez has been standing nearby as I've shared our story. Today, it's not a packet of crisps that Jez has in his hand, but a Bible. From this Bible, I've asked him to read a prayer from Numbers chapter 6. This prayer is as relevant today as it was when it was first spoken thousands of years ago. It's a prayer of blessing, a prayer of generosity, a prayer that speaks of God's love which we experience each day. Jez.
The Lord bless you and keep you. The Lord make his face shine upon you and be gracious to you. The Lord lift up his countenance upon you and give you peace. Amen.
Amen.